obviously I did just show one of the highlight breaks, so I've got a few of those. I'm building a couple of more as well. But if you do see any games you think should be highlighted, tweet at me at KicksSD, comment on the videos as well on YouTube, and I'll highlight them for you. So obviously we've had a lot of games in the STPL so far. There's actually been over 260 games played so far, and that number continues to increase.
Yeah, that's actually crazy how many STPL games there are. Like,
Yep.
how did this many games of Brood War get played, Kicks? It's consistently blows my mind. But yeah, STPL's been going on for a while, so it's
Yep.
cool to see so many games, so many players, and it's cool that we get a chance to kind of highlight a few more of those.
Yeah, now to talk about highlighting two more of these players, here is another two new ones as we head on over to introduce our map and our players. So let's head on over to the overlay and let's have a look. Okay, so the main thing is here on our map here. It's another 4-player map. It's Colosseum 2. Did originate in the STX Masters Cup 2009. And it's a pretty cool map. You have low ground sort of middle ground mains. There's no ramp coming out. You are just on sort of flat ground for the rest of the map. But interestingly, you have an in-base, as in behind your main choke, natural, every single one of the bases, and a high ground third as well. So very easy to defend your early bases, a very small choke as well. But as we found out on Monday, Wednesday actually, in the ZVP we had, it's not free from its own special circumstances. We do have neutral creep outside of the main chokes, which just means Zerg can be a little bit cheeky with sunken colonies. And we saw a very good example of that the other day.
Yeah, you can absolutely get sunken rushed here. I would say that it's not the most likely strategy, but it is out there, and you always have to keep an eye out for it.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of times when you saw pro players play on this map, you'd see them send their first Marine or first Zealot or so, or even a Probe or an SCV, just to kill it against Zerg, because it's one of the things that you wouldn't think would be dangerous, but then when it happens to you, it feels absolutely awful. But still, should be a fun game here. We're going to have, debuting here in the round of 2, it's NetWars Catspaw, who is going to be our Protoss player. And for mSj, it's going to be Teffik. So, two players here. Not too sure of the skill level of either of them. I believe Catspaw did appear in the chat under the name LRM Catspaw, so if you're around, I do apologise for not knowing too much about you, but hopefully we're going to get more chance to learn more about you through your play in the upcoming STPL games.
Yeah, I'm actually just really excited to get into that. I also kind of like playing on this map, or no, I like watching people play on this map. Map, at least for me, is not too fun to play. But yeah, there's a couple of cool dynamics, and it is a 4-player map, so it's not like it's something like, you know, Blue Storm, where you just kind of know where each other is and you kind of know how the game's gonna go. But yeah, some dynamic aspects to it. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it.
Yeah, let's get over to our game and let's get started here with our second game between NetWars Catspaw and mSj's Teffik. It's a ZVP. It's here on Colosseum. Let's go. And starting us off here in the top left position in the green, it's going to be fighting for mSj. It's Teffik.
Yeah, and his opponent in the upper right-hand corner, playing for NetWars, is going to be Catspaw.
Now the interesting thing about this map to start off with is we never really know exactly what both players are going to do. Of course, when we've got two players we've never seen before as well play, does add to that dynamic really, because you don't know which player is going to play aggressive, if any of them do. We don't really know exactly how the game's going to play out, but we do have Catspaw immediately starting off his wall off here and going to go for a very quick probe scout, so this is likely going to be a Forge Fast expand behind this.
Forge Fast expand, and then You know, always when you do see Protoss players go Forge Fast Expand, there's the opportunity, if they do catch their Zerg opponents like going 3 hatch before pool or something crazy like that, then you just throw down a pylon and cannon rush them and, you know, kind of punish them for that that greediness. There's always that idea. Anytime I see a Protoss player throw down a Forge...
Gateway.
Oh wow, yeah, it is going to be a gateway. Okay, I definitely would have expected a Forge Fast Expand here, but no, it is just going to be a gateway. And in fact, you know, this is kind of the older style. Like it actually took players kind of a while to figure out that Forge Fast Expands were viable, because it used to be that like if you tried to do that, you would just die. You just get busted because players didn't know how to like when to pull probes and where to build their cannons and how to scout to know whether or not you needed to build more cannons. And so you'd see players try it, but then they just all die. But eventually players or Protoss players got good enough that they were able to do it a little bit more consistently. So yeah, gateway first though. It's not going to be a forge, so yeah, just a forward gateway.
Yeah, no, I mean the thing about this as well is he did scout that there was no pool. The pool was actually quite late. I believe it was built on 12 supply. So maybe he assumed that there was going to be a hatch first and wanted to make the pool the gateway to try and exploit the fact that Zerg would be quite late on his Zerglings even. But unfortunately for him, it is going to be a pool before any hatcheries. I mean, obviously the Zealot's still going to be a strong option to have in the game. Does put a little bit of extra pressure on the Zerg to make sure that nothing too crazy goes on. But looks like we're going to have the probe chased away by a couple of Zerglings.
Yeah, I mean, I never think that probes are chased away by a couple of Zerglings, because in truth, the probe could probably kill both of those Zerglings if it really wanted to. This is maybe a little bit of a beta probe that does not actually kill the Zerglings, instead gets killed by them, but not before it scouts to third base.
Yeah, it's going to scout the third base. Obviously, this was taken a lot quicker than the natural. The probe was blocking for quite a while, but here we go. We're actually going to have two Lings getting in to Teffik's board, to Catspor's base even. Wow. Catspor is going for a Nexus now, but as soon as speed finishes on these Lings, this could be very annoying to deal with.
Well, in truth, it will always be annoying to deal with, but yes, that will make it even more annoying when speed does finish. And I mean, there's not too many Lings to be annoying, but just these two could still get a probe. Oh wow, what, like 2 HP away from killing that probe in the mineral line, and the Zerglings will get cleaned up.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate by him there, and Teffik actually adding on a lot of Lings behind this to try and deal with the Zealots that have come out across the map. Obviously the Zealot's going to be able to retreat for now. He knows he doesn't really have the numbers to take on too many Lings, but he does have another 2 in reserve, and it looks like for now he's going to build up his Zealot numbers and try again with the aggression here.
Trying again. Okay, well, one step at a time, I suppose. Yeah, 4 Zealots and a probe. This is actually pretty potent. Maybe you'd even bring 2 probes along with this. The idea is it makes it easier to 2-shot Zerglings with that little probe hit in there. But the Zerglings are actually pulled off to the side, so they might be able to come around for a little bit of a flankerino here as these Zealots move past the point of no return, past that little sunken there, the neutral one. Not the greatest surround here by these Zerglings, so the Zealots are actually getting quite good hits, but with more Lings spawning to come out and try to stop this, this will be cleaned up pretty easily.
Yeah, it's going to be cleaned up pretty easily, and we're going to have Catspor in a little bit of a deficit here. He's going to have to build cannons immediately. His wall isn't great. It's a little bit harder to wall in this position, so he's going to add his Cybernex core at the front as well. And while this may help him survive early on, eventually this is going to become a detriment if we do see Hydras coming out from Teffik. But are we going to see Catspor being able to defend until he gets there? He's only got 1 cannon. This is a lot of Zerglings.
Yeah, it's 1 cannon. The other thing morphing is not another cannon. That is the Cyber Core. So, I mean, if I were Catspar right now, I'm throwing down 2 cannons, 3 cannons. I'm pulling probes, because this is it. Like, anytime you see that many Zerglings running at you, like, those are not pacifist Zerglings. This map is not like Switzerland. Like, this is actually a map just like other StarCraft maps where the Zerg player is going to try to kill you. So, I think we might see another one of those situations where Protoss on 2 base dies to a Zerg on 3 because they just get a little too out of control.
Yeah, now the big difference is here, unlike on Plasma, we're seeing or Teffik using a lot of his lava early on for Lings, so he doesn't have that many drones. He does, though, have a Hydralistan. He's getting speed on that Hydralistan as well. And we could very well see a 973 coming up here by Teffik. In fact, it's going to be like a 953, I think. But there is 9 in the main, 3 in the natural, well, sorry, 3 in the third base, and 5 in the natural. So this is going to be a very potent attack. And Catsport doesn't have great positioning on this wall to really add too many cannons here to help defend it. And of course he doesn't know it's coming either, which is probably the
Yeah, he has
biggest.
no idea. As soon as he walks out here and starts to see, wait, that's like quite a few Zerglings. Like I just want to see a few probes, man. Like it, or a few probes being pulled to either block the front or build some cannons. Like honestly, if you ever get away with only having one cannon in your wall off as a Protoss player, like I feel like there's something the Zerg could have done to force out a little bit more. But I mean, we're seeing it kind of stalemate here for just a second. There will be eventually this big swell of Hydras that run across the map and try to bust through the front. But
Yeah.
is that going to come in time? Because we are seeing +1 Zealot legs on the way. I just don't think that those upgrades will finish in time for Catspaw.
Yeah, and we see Catspaw finally getting a bit more of a scout off. The trouble is he's not seen any Hydralis yet, so he has absolutely no idea this is coming. He doesn't have any additional probes, or cannons even, and this could be a very, very quick win here by Teffik. His aggression coming at a perfect timing, but how long is Catspaw going to be able to hold on for? His cannon is actually getting taken down, and that's all he has to defend here. He needs cannons on the high ground. He needs some on the low ground as well. And Teffik's breaking in, but there is a DT coming out this gateway. Is it going to be able to spawn quick enough? No, it's not. And this could be the end. Yes, it is. And
yeah.
GG.
And boom goes the dynamite. Yeah, turns out one cannon is not enough kicks, and also not scouting the Hydra bust is gonna suck as well. So, yeah, GG. That does it
Yeah.
for our third game and gives Tefik the win for mSj.
Yeah, that's a pretty crazy quick win for him. Unfortunately, we did see Catspaw losing a few too many zealots early on, and the result of that
Yeah.
really was just no scouting information from him for a very long time. He went for Templar Archives after Stargate as well, which delayed his storm even more. And that obviously led to the ultimate demise of our Protoss player in that third game. And it does give mSj, the newcomers, a current 2-1 lead up against NetWars, one of the teams in the round 2 playoffs, and they were in the round 1 playoffs as well, so a very strong team. And mSj really showing their mettle so far. But that's going to allow us to go into the fourth game of the series. If we do see NetWars win this, we will head on over to the ace match. If not, we will see a 3-1 victory here. But let's head on.